The movie starts on a quiet, remote island surrounded by dark ocean waters. Late at night, a group of local fishermen are out at sea working as usual from their small boat. Everything looks completely normal until they see what looks like a shooting star flying across the sky and crashing into the water nearby. The captain immediately assumes it might be a distress signal, thinking maybe another ship is in big trouble. Wanting to check it out, they steer their boat toward that location. As one crew member moves closer to take a look, a scary monster suddenly pops up from under the water and yanks him out of sight. The captain rushes over to help him, but before he can even process what he is seeing, the same unseen force pulls him underwater too. Seeing this, the captain's son realizes something is wrong. He grabs an axe and steps outside to investigate, but he is also suddenly attacked by the creature hiding in the darkness. The story then shifts to another part of the small island community where we meet a local police officer named Ashore. Almost everyone in town knows him for one main thing: his big drinking problem. Most people are completely used to seeing him drunk. A new cop named Lisa has just arrived for a temporary transfer. Lisa meets the police department chief. He welcomes her and explains that he has to leave the island for a few days for work-related reasons, so he needs a reliable partner to help manage things while he's away. Not long after, down at the island harbor, two fishermen are busy sorting through their daily catch when one of them pulls up a very strange creature from the water. It looks totally unlike anything either of them has ever seen. When his friend leans in for a closer look, the creature spits a stream of liquid right toward his face. The fisherman gets convinced he has found a super rare animal worth a huge fortune. Excited by the possibility, he takes the creature home and places it in his bathtub, filling it with water so it can stay alive until he figures out what to do with it. Meanwhile, along the shoreline, several locals find a huge dead whale washed up on the beach. This situation immediately draws a large crowd. O'Shea and Lisa arrive at the beach to investigate, where they find a local doctor already examining the big body. After inspecting it, the doctor explains that the whale has been dead for quite some time, and the marks on its skin appear to be from colliding with sharp rocks. Still, something doesn't feel right to O'Shea. He has lived on this island for many years, and he has never seen anything like this before. Later, O'Shea asks a construction worker with a large crane machine to remove the heavy whale from the beach. The worker gathers his crew and gets the job done without much trouble. Eventually, everyone leaves, believing the job is completely finished. However, some tools get left behind. The boss sends one worker back to pick up the leftover equipment. Walking along the shore, the worker notices a bunch of strange eggs scattered on the ground. Before he can investigate further or return with the tools, a monster from the ocean suddenly shoots out and drags him away. A few moments later, the boss goes looking for his missing worker, but the beach is completely empty. That evening, the story moves to the hotel where Lisa is staying. Attached to it is a small bar run by a married couple, which happens to be O'Shea's favorite spot to spend his nights drinking. The fisherman who discovered the strange creature arrives and excitedly boasts to O'Shea that he found something extremely valuable that could make him rich. But O'Shea doesn't believe a word of it, assuming the fisherman is just drunk like him. Later that night, the other fisherman, the partner of the guy who found the creature, is relaxing at home when he hears someone outside his door. When he steps outside to check, he sees what looks like a person floating in midair in a very unnatural, creepy position. As he cautiously steps closer, an invisible force suddenly pulls him upward and out of sight. His wife witnesses everything, runs back inside terrified, and locks the door. Looking up at the chimney, a frightening thought crosses her mind. What if the monster can climb inside that way too? Before she can cover the opening, the creature reaches down through the chimney and drags her away as well. At the same time, the fisherman who brought the creature home goes to check his bathtub, only to find it completely empty. All that is left behind is a single egg. Concerned, he follows a trail of strange slime on the floor leading into another room. That's when he spots it. The monster is clinging to the wall. It has long tentacles and looks like a terrifying alien octopus. The creature suddenly lunges at him. A wild fight follows, but somehow the fisherman manages to overpower it and kill it. The next morning at the bar, Lisa casually chats with one of the women working there about O'Shea. She is getting curious and starting to like him, so trying not to make it obvious, she asks if he has a wife. The woman laughs and tells her no. O'Shea lives completely alone. Not long afterward, the fisherman contacts both Lisa and O'Shea, begging them to come over immediately. The dead monster is brought to a laboratory for careful examination. Once there, the doctor studies it and admits he has never seen any species remotely similar before. He warns them that whatever this thing is, it's very dangerous, and he gives it a name, Grabber. The doctor then reveals several disturbing discoveries. The monster has an extremely long tongue-like feeding organ and survives mainly on water and fresh blood. He also inspects the egg found at the fisherman's house. At that moment, all these strange incidents begin connecting in O'Shea's mind. O'Shea and Lisa head straight to the shoreline, where the construction worker's truck is still parked exactly where it was left. That immediately raises a big warning sign because O'Shea knows the man would never abandon his vehicle without a good reason. Nearby stands a small house, so the two officers decide to investigate. Their search eventually leads them up onto the roof, and that's where Lisa finds a horrifying clue, the remains of the missing fisherman. Now fully convinced that a dangerous predator is behind the disappearances, they transport the evidence back to the lab for analysis. Unfortunately, the doctor can't identify what kind of animal attacked him, but he confirms that whatever did it was definitely not normal. A short time later, the fisherman who found the creature takes O'Shea and Lisa back to his house. When they arrive, the scene tells its own story. The bathtub is outside, and a massive hole has been ripped right through the wall. The egg left behind by the smaller creature has already hatched and grown into something much larger. Lisa now connects another crucial detail. She believes the attacks from last night were caused by these monsters. Since they need water to survive, the heavy rain allowed them to travel across land and reach nearby homes. The fisherman then drops an even bigger secret. He believes he knows where the queen monster laying all these eggs is hiding. He leads them to a dark cave, but refuses to step inside himself. So, O'Shea and Lisa enter the dark cave alone. Deep inside the tunnels, they discover clothing belonging to one of the fishermen who vanished in the opening scene of the movie. Unfortunately, their search wakes something up. A giant grabber emerges and immediately moves toward them. The officers waste no time and run as fast as they can for the exit. Luckily, the creature stops at the cave entrance and refuses to step outside. Soon, they realize why. Grabbers cannot tolerate direct sunlight. For the moment, daylight is the only thing keeping the island safe. Back at the lab, O'Shea and Lisa try to figure out a way to kill the beasts. They start testing different weaknesses on a captured baby grabber. One test involves setting it on fire, which seems to work at first, but as soon as water accidentally touches it, the creature springs right back to life. Before anyone can react, it spits its strange liquid at O'Shea and latches onto his head. The situation turns chaotic, but he eventually manages to pull the creature off. Watching all of this, the fisherman who first found the grabber suddenly remembers something super important. He explains that when the small creature attacked him earlier, it bit him but quickly became weak and passed out right afterward. At that time, he had been drinking heavily. That detail changes everything. Alcohol is totally toxic to the grabbers. Anyone with enough alcohol in their bloodstream becomes practically untouchable to them. But at the same time, another big problem is approaching. A powerful rainstorm is predicted to hit the island that very night. Rain is the exact condition these monsters need to move anywhere on land. Knowing they have very little time left, they meet with the local bar owner and explain that everyone on the island is in grave danger. The only way to save people is to make sure as many residents as possible drink alcohol before the storm arrives, but they can't tell anyone the real reason to prevent mass panic. The bar owner agrees to help. To verify their theory one last time, Lisa, who has never consumed alcohol before, reluctantly agrees to take a shot. They take a sample of her blood and expose it to a captured baby grabber. The result is immediate. The creature dies instantly. Now 100% sure of their plan, O'Shea and Lisa head to the local church and convince all the islanders to gather at the pub for free drinks. While the whole town drinks and enjoys themselves inside, O'Shea and Lisa quietly gather anything that can be used as a weapon. Inside the bar, the residents continue enjoying the evening. Then everything changes. One man steps outside during the storm. The heavy rain has already started, and with it come dozens of small grabbers moving through the water. The creatures swarm him immediately. Seeing the attack, O'Shea and Lisa rush forward to help. But before they can reach him, a fully grown giant grabber emerges from the dark and drags the man away. The nightmare they feared has officially begun. Rushing back toward their police vehicle, Lisa accidentally activates the police siren. The loud noise immediately attracts the giant grabber. Now it has a target. The creature jumps onto the car and starts tearing into it. Realizing they can't stay there, O'Shea and Lisa abandon the vehicle and sprint as fast as they can back to the bar. Inside, the bar owner reveals bad news. They are almost out of alcohol. O'Shea orders everyone upstairs immediately. Nobody understands what's happening, and panic spreads through the building as residents rush upstairs to stay safe. O'Shea reassures everyone that the alcohol in their body is protecting them and that the creatures won't target those who have consumed enough. But then he realizes something terrifying. He is the biggest risk in the room. Unlike everyone else, O'Shea hasn't been drinking, which means the giant grabber is specifically hunting him. Not wanting to endanger anyone else, he decides to leave the building alone. That's when Lisa comes up with one final plan. She reminds him that the creatures can't survive sunlight. Earlier, she noticed a large crane machine at a nearby construction site. If they can trap the giant grabber using heavy machinery until sunrise, the sunlight will destroy it along with any remaining eggs. O'Shea loves the idea, but there's one problem. His car keys are downstairs, surrounded by danger. Without hesitation, Lisa volunteers to get them. The lower floor is crawling with baby grabbers, but somehow she dodges them, succeeds, and returns safely. Together, they race toward the construction site. Upon arriving, O'Shea spots several fuel barrels nearby and decides to act as live bait. Calling the monster toward him, he prepares to ignite the fuel tanks when it gets close enough. But the plan almost fails. The grabber lashes out with a long tentacle and knocks him hard to the ground. As the monster closes in to eat him, Lisa takes action. Operating the construction crane, she drops a heavy piece of machinery directly onto the monster, trapping the giant grabber beneath it. Lisa helps O'Shea back to his feet, and in a quick moment of relief, she opens a bottle of alcohol for them. But the battle isn't over yet. A surviving tentacle suddenly shoots out and wraps tightly around O'Shea's leg. Acting fast, O'Shea throws the alcohol directly onto the tentacle, making the monster scream and release him. Taking that opening, Lisa grabs a flare gun and fires directly into the fuel barrels. An enormous explosion lights up the night sky, completely burning the trapped giant grabber. When morning arrives, the sun rises over a peaceful island. Later, O'Shea and Lisa return home and finally confess what they mean to each other, ready to start a brand new chapter together.